there, I would just like to tell you a little bit more about mashups and creativity. My target audience today is for people who wish to learn a bit more about mashups and how they are created. So I'll try to describe what a mashup is and a step-by-step guide of how to create one. So first of all, we'll start by saying what is a mashup. Well, the term mashup refers to a new version of a web-based application. It can be a song or composition that can be made up by mixing or blending songs and overlaying the vocal tracks. Mashups involve the remixing of content or data for purposes that were usually not intended or imagined by the original creators. Mashups are known by a variety of names all around the world. They might be called smash-ups, blends, bootlegs, crossovers, and much, much more. So, have a quick look at how they are created. So, a mashup can be created by simply providing data to web-based services or by following a number of steps. So I tried to take the easiest route here, so I've kind of done a step-by-step guide, so I'll just take you through it. So you would start first by deciding what sort of mashup you want, and then secondly, you'd think about where your data is coming from. You then move on to coding skills. Although it might be possible to create basic maps and other AIPs without coding, map AIPs are quite simple but more sophisticated, because rather than other AIPs which require a bit more work. Development speed needs to be considered for a mashup. You have to think about, do you have a server to run it on? Simple AIPs can be used from JavaScript, however, there are limitations due to security issues which could cause having problems. You also need to think about what language you'll use. Obviously your language will be influenced on your first language you know, but it can also be used through vendor toolkits. Most AIPs aim to be language agnostic anyway. So then you have to sign up for an AIP account and you have to get an individual ID, but this is quick and simple and should only take a couple of minutes. And then you can finally start coding, and this is the big step. So I had a quick look then into creating a Google Map mashup, because Google Map AIP seemed to be the most popular, that I found anyway. So yeah, you follow all the steps I've previously discussed. So instead of looking for regular AIPs, you would look for map AIPs instead, and they're regarded as like the easiest to work. I just think it's because it's the most popular, they've just made it a bit more simpler. And then also, as I stated previously, you will need an AIP account, but because it's a Google Map, you'll actually need a separate Google account as well. And then it's just really a case of getting started, get to the point of coding a Google Map mashup using your official AIP account. A lot of musicians have used mashups all over the world. They're making their songs through collaborating with other singers, and like Britney Spears and Linkin Park did a mashup with Toxic. Eminem did a mashup with his song My Name Is, using cappella voices and music from other artists. So yeah, it's used for a variety of reasons all around the world. There are several different software tools used like when developing a mashup. I tried to get some of the most popular ones here, but obviously there's much more than the ones I'm just going to describe. So there's Above All, Dapper, datamashers.com. I then found some tools that can be used for people who don't consider themselves to be software developers, so maybe not really that used to computers and wanted just a slightly simpler software, nothing too high tech. So some of these were Yahoo Pipes, Google Mashup Editor, and Popfly. So yeah, so they're just a bit simpler. I then had a quick look at the range of possible mashups found in the digital world, and I noticed that BT had said that their purpose was to explore and debate how agencies are explaining the digital opportunity for mashups and how they're just bringing that in. I also found some relevant quotes to mashups in the digital world. World Exclusive had wrote that PXF meets Infinium in Fader mashup frenzy, and another headline I noticed was mashups, sampling, probably okay, and that was in Britain. Okay, so I then moved on to the value and potential application of a mashup within the area of creativity and education. And it's just like mashups, they'll allow a new concept of thinking, allowing for educators to create in a thinking way, because it might be new. Like mashups are usually new, obviously developed on the spot or whatever, so that's different. They're usually the combination of two or more unrelated subjects which allow pupils to arrive at more creative conclusions rather than following the common methods that everyone uses. The term mashup may confuse educators who are already struggling with the current changes to the digital technologies, so that I kind of thought that would maybe be a boundary towards like mashups being used in education and things. But also mashups are being used widely within the area of creativity and education. Like there's websites where there's student portals, and like this presents updated information about the library, news, student events, weblogs, all different sorts of things. And this is actually a product of stunning growth in online materials that's energised by digital culture. So yeah, so like educators could use mashups creatively during class topics. There are several videos on YouTube and Flickr and other websites which have been reused and updated with relevant information about a variety of subjects which may be relevant to, say, a class topic. And it's just a bit more interesting than coming with this old video. It might be quite nice to try and make a new one, blend in two that are relevant, or just find a new one on the internet. And but like educators could also take a laid back approach to mashups and just kind of concentrate on reusing content and not being too high tech and not having to use all this special software. They could just be pretty laid back about it. But yeah, like overall, due to my research, I realised that like educators have described mashups as like interactive, engaging and alive. So they seem overall to be pretty happy with them and working well. I had a look then at the potential issues or problems associated with mashups. And the main problem seemed to be turning mashups from an interesting hobby into a real business. There seemed to be a big challenge of adding value to a mashup, because like joining existing sources doesn't usually add value. Like mashing together 3 websites, it might seem like an easy process, but the consumer's mind is rather simple. So you're making it hard to add value because you're just really joining 3 websites that were already there. So joining them together is not going to add any more value because you're just pushing them together. So yeah, that seemed to be the main problem with mashups. And I suppose another problem would just be like the software tools, as I mentioned earlier. Some might be too complicated or too time consuming, which obviously is going to be hard for the user. But yeah, like overall I feel mashups are used all around the world for a variety of purposes, and there are lots of opportunities within an educational context where mashups can be used in a creative way. So yeah, it's good. Thank you.